Alright, in this video we are going to learn how to use Microsoft Excel. So previously you have figured out standard deviation manually. We're going to show you some equations and some ways to use Excel to manipulate your data and do pretty much all the work for you. First thing you'll need to do is navigate to JTLearn. Open up your OneDrive. After you have logged in, we're going to create a new document. We're going to create an Excel workbook. Then as soon as that opens, we're going to do a File, Save As, and then we're going to rename this workbook. We're going to call it last name, space, first name, space, fling, machine, data. And say OK. Now we don't want to work in the web version of Excel, and you know you're in the web version because you can see the URL up top. So what we're going to do is click on Open in Excel. And if you get that error message that you just saw up there, there's a little red X. You can just close out of that error message. And the way you know you're working on this document or the current document is the title up at top in the middle. So I've gone ahead and done a practice one using our homework data. And this is pretty much exactly what you're going to make. So we need to start doing a little bit of formatting. I'm going to show you how to add in some things, how to create some of these formulas, and pretty much create the same worksheet in the Excel document. So the first thing we need to do is type in data. Then we're going to type in parentheses x minus the mu parentheses. And then we'll do that again. And then the little caret there is the squared symbol. And you're probably not going to know how to add the mu symbol, so I'm going to show you that. Remember, mu is mean. So let's go ahead and type those in. I'm going to go data, tab, parentheses, x minus. Now let's show you how to do the mu. Under insert, you're going to go to symbol. Then you're going to drop this down. And we're going to scroll down to MS reference sans serif. So go ahead and click on that. And then down in the character code, type in 00B5. That'll jump you straight to the mu. You can click on it and then hit insert. Then you can close it, and then you can close off your parentheses. Then we're going to just take that, highlight it, Control C on the keyboard to copy. Click over here into C1 cell, Control V on the keyboard to paste. And then I'm going to double click into that cell. And right after it, I'm going to hold the Shift and hit 6 for the little caret. And then 2 for squared. Next thing we'll go ahead and do, let's take a look at my example. We'll center those and we'll bold them. So to do that, you can just click, drag, select all of them, go to Home, Bold, and let's center that. And then we're going to go ahead and what I would like you to do now is enter all of your data from your fling machine. Remember, it's to the nearest 16th of an inch, and remember, this is going to be all decimals, so you're going to have to convert it to decimals to the nearest 16th of an inch. So go ahead and do that now. And let me show you how to add more decimals. So if I wanted more sig figs, I'm going to hit home here. I can select all the cells, And then up here underneath number, you're going to click this little button right here, number format. And then under number tab in the number category, you can adjust the number of decimal places, and we want to go 4 decimal places. Let's go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that with mine, it added the 4 decimal places. So then now you can get the right amount of sig figs. After you've done that, we'll come back and fill in this data later after we have calculated mean, median, mode, max, min, range, and standard deviation. So I want you to do is skip column D and enter in this information. You know how to do the mu. The reason I put M is because that is the abbreviation for mode. So go ahead and enter all this. You can go ahead and do a right justification with it as well, or a line right, and then bold all those. And then to expand cells, if it's too small, you don't have enough room, like standard deviation there isn't fitting, you can click right there at the top here and expand those columns to give you a little bit more room. Let's go ahead and type in all of that information now. So this is where you should be. Next thing we're going to do is calculate mean. And if you remember, mean, or the symbol for it, mu, is your average. So pretty much you're going to take everything that you have here, and we are going to average it. So how do you do that? Well, there's actually 2 ways. I'm going to show you the longer way first, and then I'm going to show you the other way. The reason why I want to show you the long way is because I want you to understand functions and formulas in Excel first. So the first thing that we need to do is click into this cell, F1. Then you're going to go up here into the formula bar, and we need to enter a formula. Whenever you start a formula in Excel, it needs to start with the equal sign. We're going to do equals, and then we're going to do sum, then a parentheses, because we want to do the sum of. Then I'm going to select these cells. So I'm going to do the sum of those cells. Notice how it typed in A2 colon A13. So what that means is it's going to sum A2 all the way to A13. Then I need to close the parentheses. Then I'm going to use my slash for the division. And I want to divide that by the number of data points, which is 12. And then I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard. So if you look, if I click back on that cell, there's the formula. Equals sum A2 to A13, close the parentheses, divided by 12. So that's how you can get your mean. The other way you could simply do it is clicking in that cell. Then over here in the drop down, you can do average, and then you can select the cells that you want, and then hit enter, and then it'll average that out. Again, if you're not seeing the amount of sig figs you want, you click on it, go to the number here, number tab, number category, and adjust the decimals if you're not seeing the 4 sig figs. Next we'll do median. You're going to click on F2, hit the equal sign, type in median, then you're going to do the parentheses, select the cells that you would like to determine the median of, close the parentheses, then hit enter on the keyboard, and there is your median. Next I'll do mode, so I'm going to click on F3, go up here, equal sign, mode, parentheses, select the cells, whoops, went a little bit too far, close the parentheses, enter on the keyboard, there's my mode. If you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to do the same thing with the max, equal sign, max, parentheses, select your cells, close it, enter, there's your max. Same thing for min, equals, min, parentheses, select the cells, close the parentheses, enter on the keyboard, there's your minimum. And if you remember, range is just your maximum minus your minimum, so I'm going to click in there, and then I'm going to go up into the command bar up here, and then I'm going to type in equals, and then I'm going to do parentheses, click on the max number, minus, click on the min number, close the parentheses, notice what I have up here, and then hit enter. So that is, if I click back on there, your max minus your min. Now, in order to do standard deviation, we need to calculate the rest of this. And before we do that, we should incrementally save. So I'm going to go up and do a file, quick save, just in case computer crashes. And I'm going to do some updated server copy, keep my version. So do a quick save. All right, next thing we're going to do is do the data point minus the mu. So this minus this inside of this cell. So if you haven't guessed, you're going to click in there and do an equal sign, parentheses, this minus this, close the parentheses, hit enter, and that is how you calculate the first one. Now, you could go through and do each one of those individually, but I like to try and move a little bit faster. So I'm going to click this little corner right there, a little box, and I'm going to click and drag that down. Now that quickly duplicates the formula, but the problem is if you look, the F number is not staying, this number is F1. So in this cell, it's correct, A2 minus F1. But if you look in the next one, it says A3, which is right, minus F2, which is actually subtracting the median. So you want to make sure that all of these say F1. So I'm going to just go through each one of these and change it to F1 so that it's subtracting the mean and not the median. Go ahead and do that. So now if you look and I go through each one of these in the B column, I just go down, watch this F number, it's going to stay at F1. The only thing that's changing is the A number because we're doing this minus this to calculate that. Next thing we need to do is take this number and square it. So all I'm going to do is click in there, do an equal sign, parentheses, this, hold the shift key, hit 6 to square, or to put the caret, and then a 2 for the square, close the parentheses, hit enter. Again, I can duplicate this just by pulling that down, and then I just need to go and make sure that it's using the correct number. So it should go B2, which is good, B3, B4. I'm just double checking my numbers. Everything looks good on that one. Don't need to make any changes. Again, if you're not seeing the correct sig figs, you could actually select all of these, go to number here, change the number, and adjust your sig figs to 4 sig figs. So now we need to sum all of this to get our, and we'll sum it down here. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to type in sum, all caps, equals, put a space in there. Then I'm simply going to go and click on this cell, which is C14. go over here to the Autosum. Notice the symbol there. I'm going to click Autosum, and then notice how it automatically grabbed all those cells above it. If it didn't grab what you want, you can click on this little arrow and readjust it if you needed to, if you only want to do like up to here. But that is exactly what I want, so I'm going to hit Enter. And what it just did was it summed all these. If I click on there, look, equals sum C2 all the way to C13 for me. I'm going to go into the sum here. I'm going to align that. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just going to left click it. Then I'm going to align it to the right. And then I'm going to bold it. The last thing I want to do is add in the borders around this area. So I'm going to left click here, drag a box all the way to there. Then I'm going to drop this border drop down, and I'm going to do all borders. Notice how I didn't include the sum. Next, I'll just do this one on its own and do all borders again. I'm just going to left click that, and that is good to go. Last thing we need to do is the standard deviation. So how do we do standard deviation? Click on this cell, then I'm going to go to Formulas, then under More Functions, I'm going to go to Statistical, and I'm going to scroll all the way down until we get into the S's, and you'll see Standard Deviation P. That's the one we want. You don't want to do the one that says S or A. We want the one that said S, T, D, E, V, period, P. Standard Deviation, and the P stands for population. So click on that, and then right away, it's asking you, what do you want to do the standard deviation of? So all I'm going to simply do is go over here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, actually I'm going to go here to there. Say OK. And there's your standard deviation. If you did want that to round, again, you would just need to go to the number area. Maybe I only want 2 decimal places for this. I want it to round. So there you go. And then you can go ahead and do a file, save it. So right away that's saved right back into your OneDrive. If you're ever not able to finish something and it's saved on your OneDrive, you can access that anywhere as long as you have a computer and internet access. All you have to do is log into your JTLearn and go into your OneDrive. So the last thing you'll need to do is a print, because we want to document what you did in Excel. And what you'll need to do is a file, print. Check your print over here before you go sending it off. And then what you'll do is you'll cut this out. We'll tape it in your notebook. That way we've documented it. And then you can go ahead and get it checked by Mr. West or Mr. McGuffey.